Hello people of the world, this is Alanman98 here, and I am bringing you a review today of the Xbox Live indie game White Noise. It's developed by Milkstone Studios. They've developed a few fairly good indie games in the past, and now they've decided to join the crop of Slender games. Not necessarily based off the Slender property itself, mind you, but still clearly inspired by those titles. Everything about the game screams, look at me, I want to be Slender. That right there isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when you're so obviously trying to copycat someone else's game, you better do it pretty well. Thankfully, Milkstone Studios managed to pull off the act fairly well. White Noise: A Tale of Horror is a surprisingly good indie horror game, even if it feels a little derivative at times and can't quite stack up to its inspiration. But how does the game stand on its own? Let's find out. So, the first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is the production values, and looking at it sheerly on that, it's a very good game. The production values are quite good. The visuals are definitely on par with the titles that inspired the game. The game looks good. The environments are creepy, it's got good textures, the lighting, and it's good. It's just good. The production values in this game are really top-notch for an indie title. The sound design is creepy. Your footsteps under your dude when he's walking like this, it just all adds up to an extremely good atmosphere. The controls are great. The game is really well made from a technical standpoint. In terms of that, it's one of the best games we've seen on the indie marketplace to date. It definitely doesn't feel like a cheap one-man basement project like a lot of them unfortunately have a tendency to do. Production value-wise, this is an excellent game. Now, how does it stack up to the other horror titles on Xbox Live Indie Marketplace? And more importantly, how does it stack up towards its inspiration, the myriad Slender games out there? It doesn't quite live up to its inspiration, unfortunately. The environments, while creepy, thanks in no small part to the excellent sound and visual design, are never quite as creepy as something you'd see in the Slender games. Whereas Slender was populated with some really unnerving mansions and back alleys and prisons and forests and countless other scary horror settings, White Noise just feels kind of forgettable in that regard. You've got a graveyard, there's an abandoned building, and there's a weird Greek statue, but nothing about the White Noise locations are as memorable as, say, the original Slender's bathroom, which was famous for being a death trap if you get too late. There's nothing on par with being stalked through, say, the hedge maze in Slender Claustrophobia. In terms of its environments, it can't live up to its inspiration, and unfortunately, environment can make or break a horror game. On top of that, the design of the main antagonist, who is never given any kind of identity whatsoever, just isn't as creepy of a character as Slender Man. Whereas Slender Man stalks you all straight with his tentacles coming out of his back and his blank white face, this monster is just kind of your generic horror monster. He's big, he's white and red, and he makes some scary sounding growls. Aside from that, there's nothing really memorable about him either. And in the end, that's probably White Noise's biggest flaw. Everything it does quite well. It just doesn't manage to carve out its own identity in the sea of Me Too Slender clones. Granted, it's a very good, well-made Me Too Slender clone. It controls well, it looks good, it sounds nice, and when you play it with headset on and the lights out, it's a fairly tense, creepy game. It is. And for those of us who are limited to an Xbox or just want to play something new and scary on our Xbox, it's definitely worth checking out for only $1. But if you've got the means of playing the original Bigger Brother Slender titles, that's probably what you're going to want to go for in this case. White Noise, all around, is a good game, and I enjoyed playing it. I posted a walkthrough of it. I'll put an annotation here. Shameless self-promotion. But anyways, it's a good game. It's a creepy game, and it's worth your $1. It just can't quite compare to the Slender games that so clearly inspired it. White Noise, A Tale of Horror, in the end, gets a 7.5 out of 10. For more on all things Xbox, indie game, and just general gaming, be sure to keep it tuned right here. Click the like button and subscribe if you really enjoyed it. But as always, I'm AlabMan98 here, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.